Let's go!
Hey everybody, Coach Scott here, sitting in my car. I was thinking about some things this morning, and on my way in today, I heard a song from George Michaels. Remember the old George Michael songs? And I heard that song, and I began to reflect on, I think it was this past Christmas, George Michaels passed away at his home, and he was only 53 years old. And so I began to think about the things that I want to share with you based on what I remember about that report of his death. And many people speculated, by the way, that his death was due to the history of drug abuse. And many people even thought that he was probably having some issues with drug abuse again, and that's what he probably died from, an overdose. But when the cause of his death was actually made public, that was not a reflection of the truth. You see, George Michael, if I can remember correctly, he kept himself in pretty good shape, and he didn't smoke, I don't believe. I don't think he ate even red meat. I think he had a pretty strict diet, and he seemed to have a pretty good handle on his health. So I began to ask when I started to read this report last year, what is the truth? What happened? And when the autopsy came out, that George Michael was actually killed by heart disease and a fatty liver. Heart disease and a fatty liver. Now, many of you understand what this means because many of you on LT360 know that when you came to us, you were experiencing some form of fatty liver disease. Many of you have reversed it now and completely resolved that issue, and I'm grateful for that. But it's calculated today that 1 in 4 people have what's known as fatty liver disease, or what's called NAFL, non-alcoholic fatty liver disease. So when you have a fatty liver, what it does, it puts you at an increased risk for things like cardiovascular disease, type 2 diabetes, and actually liver cancer. And most people, I'm scared to even say this, but most people don't even know they're at risk. And some people have estimated in the next few years that non-alcoholic fatty liver disease will become the leading cause of liver transplants in the United States of America. And what's scary about that is there's such a limited supply of available livers. Again, most of these people will die waiting to get a liver transplant. I think it's about 16,000 people each year on a waiting list for a liver transplant, but only about 6,000 of those receive those livers. And so that means that 10,000 people will die each year waiting because of this disease. And in my opinion, that's a health crisis. And it's not even talked about much. So today I want to give you some interesting facts, but I also want to give you some tips on how you can avoid non-alcoholic fatty liver disease, but also make sure that you've got good liver health, because liver health is preventable, or liver disease is preventable, and in many cases completely reversible. So I just want to give you some tips to how do you improve this so that you can keep your focused on your overall health, and your liver is your biggest detoxification organ in your body. The first thing you can do is you got to eat more fish if you can. If you like fish and you want to get more fish in your diet, it's always good. If you can't, make sure that you're getting your fish oil supplement in. Fish and fish oil are a good source of DHA, which is omega-3, a fatty acid that researchers say can slash the production of liver-damaging compounds by up to about 65%. So don't miss out on your fish oil or getting more fish in your diet. Number 2, limit or avoid refined grains and sugars. I know this sounds like a broken record, but processed carbs and sugars can pump your liver full of fat. But on the other hand, if you're eating the good grains, whole grains, and sprouted grains, and even gluten-free carbs like quinoa, that can help you decrease your chances of liver disease. That actually help you cleanse your liver at the same time, pumping up your ability to burn fat. And again, I've seen lots of reports that suggest that people who add whole grains and even sprouted grains can burn up to about 2.5 times more fat than people who don't. Number 3, detox with vegetables. I love this one. You got to get some vegetables in your diet. Adding more vegetables to your diet is always helpful for your detoxification pathways. But there's actually, interestingly enough, certain greens that are better for your liver than others. I just read a study out of Columbia University that found that Brussels sprouts and asparagus, interestingly enough, Brussels sprouts and asparagus contain a special sulfurous compound that supports detoxification in your liver. What it does, it turns up your liver's natural fat-burning power as well for about 48 hours after you eat it. So this is always good. And number 4, take your supplements. Liver functionality and hydration is the primary reason we recommend the Heal and Recovery Powder. This is truly miracle in a bottle. I will never stop taking Heal and Recovery. I don't care what I do else. I'm not going to stop taking that. So when you're thinking about getting your body healthy, when you're thinking about your detoxification pathways, when you're thinking about your biggest organ in your body that supports the toxic load out of your body and helps you get the toxic load out of your body, you got to think about your liver. So keep your foot on the gas, make sure you implement and apply these tips, and I guarantee you'll be all that you were created to be. God bless you guys. Take care. We'll see you soon.